Hello, I hope you're doing well today. My name is Ian Green, and I'm a musician for Music Dreams and also for Ian J. Green. And today it's my pleasure to be working on Unit 5, Part 3 on applied chords, on applied dominant chords. And today we're going to be looking at a variety of different details related to writing in four-part harmony. So let's take a look at our shared screen, and we'll look at a few different things together. Right now, what I'm going to be doing is specifically working on a variety of different details that are generalized. I would suggest, of course, always take each different idea as kind of study notes with these tutorials, but then you can apply the general rules and general ideas to each individual question. And sometimes the answers might be a little bit different than what you anticipate, but if you follow these general rules, it'll help you get off on the right track. Now, when we're speaking about secondary dominant chords, we're speaking about chords that are, of course, not within the original tonic scale or the diatonic scale. We're talking about dominant chords of other notes in the scale. So, for example, the dominant seventh of the 2 chord, the dominant seventh of the 4 chord, etc. So just like when we have traditional dominant seventh chords within a diatonic scale, you have different options of how to spell the chords. It is possible to use all 3 notes of the triad plus the 7th, so root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, which complete spelling of a chord. You can also use an incomplete spelling where you substitute the root for the 5th. Instead of playing root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, you would write root, 3rd, 7th. So you would substitute the root and basically double the root in a dominant chord in a diatonic scale. So meaning if we go 5-7 to tonic, you could write root, 3rd, 7th in the dominant 7th chord and still create the correct quality of that chord. The root, 3rd, and 7th are the most important notes in a dominant 7th chord because these create the sound, the specific quality that then requires resolution. For example, in the key of C major, your dominant 7th chord would be G, B, D, and F. So if I were to go over to my piano, the B, the D, the G, and the F would resolve to C, E, and G. If we had a root, 3rd, 7th, you can still hear that complete sound that is resolved from dominant 7th going to tonic. Now, when we think about applied chords, we can now think that this could be the dominant 7th of something else other than the tonic note. So if we go back to that example of G7 or G, B, D, F going to C major, C, E, G, now we can consider that as maybe the 4 chord in the scale of G major. So if you start off originally in the scale of G major, and then the 4th note of the scale is C, the dominant 7th of 4 would be G, B, D, F natural, which then is changed with an accidental from the original key of G. So now when we have 5-7 of 4 going to 4, you can still use root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, which would be G, B, D, F in this case, or you could also write G, G, B, F natural to have the substituted note changed from the 5th to a doubled root. So it's all about context. Instead of thinking about dominant 7th going to tonic in just the original diatonic scale, now we can start thinking about how we can have a dominant 7th chord applied to individual different chords within a key. And composers use this cross relation between different dominant 7th chords to help create different sounds, different colors and different sounds. And these are all changed by chromatic changes. So for example, in the key of G major, the dominant seventh of 4 would include an F natural, which is a change from the original scale, to help create the sound of that cadence in that special applied way. Now, when we're writing dominant seventh chords in 4-part harmony, some of the most important things to think about are the spelling of the chords, and also to resolve the dominant seventh in the same way as you would when resolving a dominant seventh to a tonic in the original diatonic scale. You want to think about how the seventh should fall to the third. So the seventh of the dominant seventh chord should try to fall to the third of the chord you're resolving towards. As well, you want to make sure that the third rises to the tonic, if possible, within the context of the cadence of the applied chord. And as well, you want to make sure you watch out for parallel intervals and other such related voice leading issues. So I do hope this general concept is helpful, and I look forward to seeing you for another tutorial very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.